All right. As I said, going into the break, Michael Berry is my mentor. He's the one who pushed me to do this. I got to know him back when I was selling RVs. He's pushing me. Go for a media career. You could do great at it. So I owe a lot to Michael Berry. I always have. I always will bring him up as somebody who mentored me and still does. When I have questions, concerns, when I need advice, he's the one I call. He's also a total jerk. I took a picture with Michael, me, Nicole Shanahan, and Tucker last night. Michael very rudely cut my head off in the picture. It's not very nice, but he's not very nice. I sat down to interview him. He ended up deciding he wanted to run things, and he interviewed me, and here we were.
Do you own an ice maker?
I do. I own an ice maker. I'm not sure how you heard about it. I've been fairly tight-lipped about it, but
No, serious question. Do you own an ice maker?
I do.
'Cause I don't think people know how much money you make.
well, look, it was $45.
Was it?
It was $45.
I don't believe you.
No, it was.
Your wife is here, and I don't believe you.
Well, she's the one who bought it.
Did she?
She's actually the one who bought it. She's been
Okay.
really upset about how much public credit I've taken for the fact that it was her idea and she purchased it.
Okay.
I did pay the extra $4.99 for expedited shipping, so I don't
Okay.
want to rub that in anyone's face.
Yeah,
But-
I don't really like to be interviewed, so I thought I'd interview you.
Well, clearly
So
you're
what
going to
is-
take command.
So people want to know, what does Jesse Kelly do when he gets home every night from the show, and he's had a long day, right? Sitting in an air-conditioned office all day and
Yeah.
doing his show and
brutal.
having people tell him how great he is. What is it? What's the? Do you have a drink when you come home?
Not as much anymore,
Yeah.
actually. I used to. My
Don't try to be Tucker Carlson. Be honest.
My routine used to be. I'm being honest. If you would stop interrupting, my routine used to be. Remember, I get home because my show is at night.
Yeah.
So by the time I get home, she's getting ready to go to bed. My wife's getting ready
9
to go
o'clock.
to bed.
Yeah.
The boys are getting ready to go to bed. Like
Yeah.
the house is winding down because
Okay.
it's an evening show. I don't get home and
Right.
you know
I
get
got
to have dinner. It used to be more of go have a glass of bourbon or two. I am worried about my blood pressure because high blood pressure runs in my
Right.
family, and it was starting to run a little high. Not like anything concerning, but
Right.
a little high. So I had to basically cut a lot of that out.
Well,
So
you
that's
have
a
that problem
rarity
like
now.
giraffes have. You have to push that blood
It's not
so
like
far.
giraffes. It has
'Cause you're
nothing
what,
to do with
6'8"?
giraffes.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'8".
Yeah.
I'm
Well, then
6'8".
why are you wearing high heel boots if you're 6'8"? You don't need to wear high heel boots. You're already 6'8". What are you, 6'11" now?
Well, I don't
You
need
make
an
the
ice
rest of us
maker
feel
either, but I
awkward.
have one now.
That's a good point.
It's not your
That's a good-
problem, is it? I have more ice than you have.
What-
You're my mentor. You're Michael Berry. You had
Yeah.
all this success. I have more ice than you do, and you don't have to live with that.
Did you ever think that you would be hanging out backstage with Tucker Carlson and him telling all your friends, including your mom, how great you are?
Yeah, I always figured. I
Yeah.
always figured whenever I was selling RVs.
Yeah,
and-
you
and
figured.
I figured, when I was in the Marines,
Yeah.
when I was in the sand, I would sit there and say to myself, "You're going to be a huge star one day."
No, it's serious.
And-
Like
and I was-
you're in the national conversation with 5 people. No, it's serious. Like I'm being dead serious. It's cool as hell. It's fun for me to watch.
All right, in all seriousness, it's like I'm watching it too. My
Mhm.
wife and Ab and I were talking about it on the way in. We're at this big Tucker Carlson event, and we're all backstage in this green room, and there's
But
all
it's
kinds
Tucker
of stuff.
Carlson's event, but you are the superstar.
We pulled
That's-
in. When we pulled in, it was Tucker's face on there, and then my face is on the billboard.
Yep.
And we pulled over and took a picture of it.
Yeah.
That's that's really weird. It's
Yeah.
very weird. Right? This is weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't have green rooms and stuff. I come from a construction family, which I'm very proud of. But
Yeah.
I don't have green rooms. You don't have events. You don't have people wanting to take pictures with you. It's like I'm watching it too. People don't believe me when I say that, but it is. It's weird. Like I'll come home and Bob and I will talk about it.
I will tell you, and people have asked me, you've had a meteoric rise, and I tell people that the reason for that is authenticity. There are a lot of people that were an FM DJ, they were a TV personality, and nothing against them. They're very good at presenting on TV, although I think you're phenomenal. But I think the thing that makes you special is there's an authenticity. You're a real person. People can imagine you. You're one of them. In poor towns, the preacher would wear the nicest suit and have the nicest car. You're a guy who came from everyday people and launched. And I think that's really awesome for people. You went in the Marines. Who did that, right? You've had this experience. You sold RVs and you embrace that, right? You love Long John Silver's. I love that. I mean, you love Red Lobster. I love that. And I think that resonates with people.
Well, about what we do, that you told me this when you were mentoring me and teaching me how to do this
We
stuff,
were.
about how intimate radio is. Radio or podcasting, whichever one you want to put it. Every radio show is podcasted now, but when you have, when it's the spoken word, when it's audio, again, this is what you taught me. You do it with people. And people watch me do TV because I have a TV show where everyone's watching this right now on the first.
Right.
It's a different way to consume media. You sit back and you watch it. When it comes to radio, I am in your car with you. I am making dinner with you. I am working out with you. I am at your job. I'm sitting at your desk, and because you're doing your day with me. Whereas when people are watching this right now on the Amazing First TV, you are sitting in front of your iPad or your television or wherever you're watching, and you're watching it. But you can't lie if you're on the radio for 3 hours a day. If you are fake, people are not stupid. They will sniff it out in a heartbeat. They will smell it in a million miles. I can't pretend to be educated. I'm not. I can't pretend to not like, things like Waffle House and Red Lobster. That's who I am. It's what I love. It's what I enjoy.
Yep.
If I pretended, people would know. So you might as well not bother.
Our CEO, who we both work at a company that he's the umbrella of, Bob Pittman, who is the founder of MTV, says that we are your companion, at least on your radio side. Your TV side, and I love watching the show because I get to see you in kind of a different way, because now you get to use the visuals and all that. You don't have to tell the story quite so much. Now you can emote in a way you can't on the radio. You can show your reaction to a video. And I think, I got to tell you, and I'm not blowing you up because I'll knock you around as well. You know this, but I can't believe, and I'm not good at TV. I've never been good at TV. That's why I don't do it. You are so good on TV, not having come up through the ranks, not having been coached, not having been, and that to me is one of the anomalies about you. I've never seen somebody that's so good on TV on day one. It's incredible.
Well, I like talking with my hands when I talk to people, and I like expressing things, and I appreciate the radio aspect where you have to describe it, but I like being able to make a facial expression, like right now. I like being able to roll my eyes or laugh or grab my head or I enjoy, I don't know, does that sound lame? It almost sounds theatrical, but I enjoy that part of it. I think it helps bring everything alive.
Well, that's the laugh track, right? We're seeing how you're reacting. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. What worries you most about the future of this country right now?
Things are so poisoned at the top. It's so corrupt. It's so criminal at the top. We already know that. We get that. You and I talk about this on our shows every single day, all day long, how corrupt they are, how evil, how poisonous it is. That's a given. All right, well, that's the life we've been given. That's the government we've been given. What concerns me is the number of people who will wake up in time to stop it, because we completely have the power to stop this. We really do. People don't think so because you feel surrounded and you watch the news and it's just problems here and problems there and problems there. We really do. We have the power. We have the numbers. People do not know this. I'll probably end up saying this tonight, but they're afraid of us. The government is deathly afraid of us. You think you're afraid of them. They are afraid. The media is afraid. They are afraid the people will wake up and rise up and reject them. And we have the power to do that if we will wake up in time. And I'm also concerned, to be honest, I know this is going to get a little dark. I'm concerned about a terrible event gutting people and holding the movement back. Now, that terrible event, everyone knows what I'm talking about right off the bat. I'm worried they're going to kill Donald Trump. I believe they will, because corrupt, evil systems kill people who challenge them. That's just the history of the world. But let's say it's not that. What if it's just a loss in November? Everyone thinks Kamala Harris is going to lose. She's a moron. No one will vote for that. Everyone's done with it. What if she does win? What if it's cheating? What if it's not? What if, who knows? Are all the people who are energized and rising up right now, we're all going to be drowning our sorrows that night, but are people just going to say screw it and walk away? Because if that happens, we're done. If that happens, we have a dark, ugly, evil future ahead of us. If people stay involved, if people get involved, we do not. It's just that simple. We will not be determined by Trump or one race or the House or the Senate. Do the people continue to rise up and get involved? If they do, we're fine. If not, we're screwed. That's what worries me, because I don't know which way that's going to go. I don't know. Historically, sometimes they do rise up, and sometimes they just go meekly into the gulags.
You and I talk off air often about things, and it's almost never politics. It's interesting for me because I follow you on Twitter. You write things, and I think that's exactly how I feel. And we haven't talked about that. He just put it better than I would. And it's shocking to me. I've literally never seen an opinion of yours that you posted, and that your opinions are out there. And I go, gosh, I agree with him 100% of the time. But people will say, what do you and Jesse talk about? And I'll say, we talk about our families. We talk about what's going on in our personal lives. We talk about which part of our body's falling apart because we're not as young as we used to be. When you talk about being a father, which you don't talk as much about that on the air as I think you should, how are you different as a father talking to the nation every night about and every day about what's going on in this country? Because I'm different, I know. How are you different?
I don't think I am. And if anything, it can come off. I know it can. My wife, she'll say to me, it can come off as very direct and harsh. But my boys are at the age where, well, even when they were younger, I just don't sugarcoat things for them. If they came home one day in class or from school, and their teacher told them that FDR was the greatest president ever, I will not dance around it. Your teacher's an idiot, and FDR was a scumbag communist, and I can't stand him. So it doesn't mean you get in trouble in class. You keep your mouth shut, but your teacher doesn't know what the heck they're talking about. And I don't know that that's the right way. I certainly don't think I'm father of the year, but I will tell you, my sons, not your sons, you're the same way, but my sons are very much prepared for when they hear crap. They can sniff it a mile away now because of how we've raised them, how we've had. There's a Disney movie coming out. I don't know what the stupid thing is. Some robots running through the forest with animals and crap. Everyone's probably seen the advertisers anywhere. And immediately we were at the movies. I forget what we were going to see. My youngest, he's not even the political one. My oldest is. He looks at me and he says, "You know, that's just going to be a bunch of climate change propaganda." And I'm like, that's my boy, right? And if you teach them how to sniff out all the garbage, when you're in a system of lies, when everything on the TV is a lie and every movie's a propaganda piece and everything's a lie, if you teach them how to see that instead of what every individual story is, then they pick up on it so fast. It makes me so proud when they pick up on it before I don't have to say anything, because I know I'm prepping them to enter a world of lies. That's the world we live in now.
And if parents had been parents, then the young voters, especially today, wouldn't be making the mistakes they were.
Well, we were there. There was this law that is a very understandable law with the previous generation or two. They had been raised in a normal country, and they'd been raised by normal parents, and the rot and corruption and evil at the top was not broadcast every day on the news. It wasn't nearly as evident. You had little glimpses of this and that. It wasn't breaking news that LBJ was a corrupt piece of trash who started an entire war over. These things are known. It's not like they were completely like lost, but you didn't know that you had to teach your kids to wake up and be activists. You didn't know that. You can't raise your kids. Well, we don't talk politics. You can't do that. It's not an option anymore. If you send your kids out there, they're going to get eaten alive by the wolves in a society like that. You better prep them now. But that generation didn't know because they weren't trying to blow the Republican nominee's head off and chop kids' penises off when my parents were raising us. It just didn't work out that way.
So Saturday, we're chatting, and I said, come over. I smoke cigars. You don't, but let's have some bourbons and catch up on things and celebrate and enjoy some good fellowship. And you said, I'm at a cross-country track meet out in the sun while everybody else in America is watching college football and enjoying themselves. But I got to tell you, I think those experiences connect us to real Americans, because you and I both know that Kamala Harris is not a real American. Her husband is not a real American. Joe Biden's not they do not live the lives that real Americans live. You need to be at that cross-country meet, which is why you're there. You need to be out there in the sun. You need to be spending 4 hours to watch your kid run for 10 minutes. And I think that helps us understand what people are going through, because you've been hanging out with Tucker Carlson tonight. It's very easy to get alienated from the people sitting in those seats and the lives they're leading, and to communicate with those people. And I think that's an important part of what we do that we tend to take for granted.
We do take it for granted. And as soon as you start as soon as you start making some money, right? You get successful enough in media, you're going to start making good money. People aren't naive; they know you're making good money. You can quickly price yourself out of experiencing what other people
Yes.
experience at all. No, I'm not going to cross country's an hour and a half away.
Right.
I want to sleep in. You know what? We don't have a nanny, but send the nanny with the kids, and then you can use your money to price yourself out of the way everyday people live. So you're never in the grocery store sticker shocked at the price of beef. You're never at a cross country tournament rotting in miserable heat with all the other parents because your kid doesn't race again for another 2 hours. If you do that, you're done. If you lose connection to people, you're done.
That was me. That was Michael. It was a good time. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.